made to you so special? Nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn!
Were you scared of it? No, not at all, huh?
No, I'm from Brooklyn.
You're from Brooklyn, huh?
I just wanna rap.
Okay guys, Frank Stout, just a guy from Brooklyn. So we are back with part 2 of my new series, counting down the top 100 80s movies that I ranked. If you haven't checked out part 1 of my series, I suggest you go back, check that out, and then come back here so you can keep that list going. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's cover my rules. Rule number 1 is spoilers. I'm going to give a heavy spoiler warning. These movies are 30 to 40 years old, so if, God forbid, you see a movie that you haven't seen, skip that chapter and then come back later on after you've seen it. Rule number 2 is, as always, this is a favorites list, not a best list, which means if you want to converse with me about my list, the best way that you can do that is to show me yours through the comments section. This video is dedicated to one of my oldest and dearest friends, Kendra Cotman. She's known me since we were in high school, and when I told her about this video, she was a bit, I'm gonna say, disappointed with the fact that I didn't have her favorite movie in my top 100. So my lone honorable mention for this video is Purple Rain. Prince plays the Kid, a musician on the rise with his band The Revolution, escaping a tumultuous home life through his music. He navigates the club scene and a rocky relationship with singer Apollonia. But another musician, Morris, looks to steal the Kid's spotlight and his girl. There's obviously the music, which is fantastic, but also the storyline of domestic abuse and breaking that cycle as a man. The movie is before its time with relevant topics for today. Oh, and on a side note, I hear Prince is a deadly basketball player who makes a mean plate of pancakes. Kicking things off is Revenge of the Ninja. Sho Kosugi plays Cho, a man who lost his wife and most of his family to rival ninja. So he moves to America with his mother and real-life son Kane and starts a business with his American friend Braden. But his mother warns him, you cannot escape your destiny. He ends up mixed up with a silver mask ninja, so he must don the mask again, as only a ninja can stop a ninja. My favorite scene is obviously the duel between the two ninjas at the end of the movie. One ninja was more technology based and the other one was more old school. Coming in at number 44 is Pieces. This Spain and United States collab slasher is batshit crazy, with a man killing woman in a university for body parts in order to piece together the perfect woman. It's trashy and gory and makes you wonder about the mental status of its creator. My favorite scene is very cheesy. It's known as the bastard scene.
While we were out here fumbling with that music, the lousy bastard was in there killing her! Bastard!
Coming in at number 43 is Beverly Hills Cop Part 2. Axel returns to Beverly Hills to investigate the shooting of now good friend Lieutenant Bogomel by a criminal who leaves alphabetical clues, Riddler style, after his heists. Murphy does his comedy thing, and we get to learn a little bit more about Billy and Taggart. You got Bridget Nilsson, the Playboy Mansion, and a high-speed chase with a cement truck. My favorite scene is when I find extremely clever where Axel actually steals a house.
Can you guys stop working, please? Stop it! Get the plan! Stop working!
You're gonna straighten all this stuff out, huh?
Will you stop worrying and go home? Trust me. Can somebody clean some of this shit up before you leave, though?
Coming in at number 42 is Sleepaway Camp. Another bizarre slasher with its creator in much need of a psychological evaluation. Shy girl Angela and her cousin go to camp and murders begin to ensue. I don't believe this to be an intentional horror comedy, but some of the bizarre choices and performances here will make you laugh your ass off. You'll also laugh at some of the clothing choices, which were just trends of the times. Lots of guys wearing crop tops and tight jean shorts. There's one camp counselor who'll truly make you go, But the only scene I can choose is the ending, which is one of the greatest endings in horror history. Coming in at number 41 is Lethal Weapon, a buddy cop masterpiece as Danny Glover plays Roger Murtaugh, a cop who's too old for this shit. To make things worse, his new partner Martin Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, is possibly suicidal and out of control. They stumble upon a case involving mercenaries smuggling heroin into the country, and their muscle is Mr. Joshua, played by none other than Gary Busey. Is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie? I'll leave it up to you, but it does take place during Christmas. My favorite scene is known as the jumper scene.
I know you're hurting. I get it. Okay, now, come on. So don't come near me! Come on, give me a break. Will you, guy? My boss is down there and he's watching me, so I gotta make it look at least like I'm trying to save you.
Coming in at number 40 is Pet Sematary, a Stephen King adaptation about a family that moves into a beautiful home in Maine, and thanks to an unsecure road, it has a pet cemetery nearby for the victims of that road. But the real secret is behind the cemetery is a burial ground that can bring back the dead. But as their neighbor Judge says, sometimes that is better, due to the soil being sour. This is one of the few movies that scared me when I was a teenager. There was a character named Zelda. She really creeped me the fuck out. My favorite scene is Little Gage, who goes after big old Judd. It's rough. Coming in at number 39 is Superman 2. I want to be very specific here as I'm discussing the theatrical cut. There is a separate cut called the Richard Donner cut, which was made many years later and made it a more serious movie. But I prefer the lesser cut, which is the more campy, comedic style movie. It's difficult to compare a movie like this to the more modern comic book films we watch today, but I think it holds up nicely. As Lois starts to connect the dots between Superman and Clark Kent, 3 Kryptonian villains escape and wreak havoc on the Earth. Choosing a favorite scene is difficult, but choosing a favorite character is easy. General Zod, played by an over-the-top Terrence Stamp, is gold.
Come to me, son of Jor-El! Kneel before Zod!
Even when he's trying to be nonchalant, he still cracks me the hell up.
Why do you say this to me, when you know I will kill you for it?
Coming in at number 38 is My Bloody Valentine, a fantastic holiday slasher that surprisingly never got a sequel. The killer wears miner's garb and kills with a pickaxe. It's a whodunit with great kills and character development. Perfect to watch on Valentine's Day. Your lady will hold you close during all those scares. You've got a small town which has outlawed Valentine's Day due to tragic events from years before, but all of a sudden, the killer comes back and he's out for vengeance. My favorite scene involves one of the kills in a shower area inside of the mine. It's awesome. Coming in at number 37 is Fright Nights. Best described as I Think My Neighbor is a Vampire, this horror comedy is one of the best vampire movies of the 80s. It even pays homage to the old Hammer films with the character Peter Vincent, played by Roddy McDowall. And it has fantastic practical effects. Horror veteran Chris Sarandon looks like he's having too much fun playing Jerry the Vampire. My favorite scene? Jerry seduces Amanda in an 80s club. You might recognize her from Married with Children. Coming in at number 36 is Better Off Dead, a fantastic teen comedy about a lovesick boy named Lane Meyer, played by John Cusack, who gets dumped by his girlfriend for a more popular guy who can ski the most dangerous mountain in town. Although he's intent on ending his life and quite terrible at doing so, he gets help from a foreign exchange student who helps him get his confidence back. Can he tackle the mountain and get his girlfriend back? My favorite scene is obviously the final race, which has some surprises.
Go!
Coming in at number 35 is Red Dawn. As this was the 80s and we were going through the Cold War, we all wondered, what if Russia and Cuba invaded the United States? A group of teens escape to the mountains and learn to fight back. I still get hyped every time they yell out, Wolverines! The roster is impressive here as it sports Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, Jennifer Grey, C. Thomas Howell, and Leia Thompson. My favorite scene involves a chase through an open field. Coming in at number 34 is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddys Revenge. Yep, Freddy's back, only this time he's possessing a boy named Jesse. But with the help of his love interest, Lisa, they must find a way to stop Freddy. It has now been proven that this movie has intentional homoerotic undertones everywhere. Mark Patton, who plays Jesse, actually quit acting after all the backlash. He even made a documentary about it. Although this is a cheesy 80s affair, Freddy is still pretty scary here. My favorite scene, anything involving Jesse's crazy ass dad.
That boy's in trouble.
No, he's not in trouble. What that boy needs is a good goddamn kick in the butt. That's what he needs. Tell you what he needs a methadone clinic.
Coming in at number 33 is The Princess Bride, a sword and sorcery tale of true love, narrated from grandfather to his grandson. You've got pirates, giants, monster-sized rats, and so much more. Besides a fantastic story, you have quotes to last a lifetime. As you wish, inconceivable. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. To be honest, I'm truly, totally stumped on choosing a favorite scene here, as I love the entire movie. Apologies.
True love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for nice MLT, mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are ripe. They're so perky. I love that.
Coming in at number 32 is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris is faking being sick to get out of school, and he plans to make the most of it. With the help of his best friend Cameron, they sneak his girlfriend Sloane out of school to join in the festivities. But hot on their tails is his high school principal, who's got a serious weed up his ass for him. Not to mention his jealous hater sister, played by Jennifer Grey. Both are looking to expose Ferris, so he is forced to do another year of high school. My favorite scene is the principal and his sister both think they finally caught him.
Ferris Bueller.
Coming in at number 31 is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Steve Martin plays Neil Page, desperate to travel from New York to Chicago to make it to Thanksgiving dinner, only to partner up with the force known as Del Griffith, played by John Candy. He sells shower curtain rings, talks your ear off, and doesn't mind taking off his shoes and socks on a packed airplane. The laughs are non-stop, but like most John Hughes movies, it also has a big heart. My favorite scene, both guys are forced to share a hotel room and wake up holding each other ever so gently.
Why did you kiss my ear? Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
Coming in at number 30 is Top Gun. One part summer blockbuster, one part enlistment commercial for the Navy. The best of the best go to the elite school Top Gun to master dogfighting. Maverick, played by Tom Cruise, is a reckless stud pilot who wants to prove he's the best while wrestling with ghosts of his past. Unlike Elm Street 2, which had intentional homoerotic undertones, it is unproven if the same can be said for Top Gun. You can decide for yourself after watching men gaze at each other across rooms, play shirtless beach volleyball slapping each other while a song called Playing with the Boys is playing, and airbite each other in their underwear in locker rooms.
I want somebody's butt. I want it now. I've had it. God damn it. That's twice. I want some butts.
Coming in at number 29 is Poltergeist. Steven Spielberg and Tobe Hooper combined to give you the ultimate haunted house experience. The Freeling family move into their new suburban home, not realizing it was built over a cemetery with only the headstones removed. After youngest daughter Carol Ann is taken, they must seek out for help. Hooper's horror combined with Spielberg's movie magic does not disappoint. My favorite scene, the pool scene, which is said to have used real dead bodies. Coming in at number 28 is Rad, a fantastic underdog story about a kid named Crew Jones who learned all his BMX tricks delivering newspapers. And he's given his dream to compete against the best in a race called Hell Track. I'm extremely biased here as I went through my freestyle bike phase back then, but it's definitely an 80s pumped affair with a rockin' soundtrack. It also co-stars Talia Shire and Lori Loughlin. My favorite scene is the dance scene. You can't get more 80s than this. Coming in at number 27 is Transformers the Movie. A direct sequel to the popular Saturday morning cartoon, it also had a diabolical ulterior motive to get kids to ditch their old Transformer toys for new ones introduced here. But to hell with all that, as I was amazed to see all the carnage as these sentient robots were being offed left and right. Even courageous leader Optimus Prime was not spared. With new villains Galvatron and the Galactus-level Unicron, the surviving Autobots must find a way to save Cybertron and Earth. My favorite scene is the battle at Autobot City, which felt literally like the battle at the Alamo, but with robots. Coming in at number 26 is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This raunchy teen comedy came out at the perfect time, as Crush's Jennifer Jason Leigh and Phoebe Cates kickstarted puberty for me, while stoner Jeff Spicoli, played by Sean Penn, battled history teacher Mr. Hahn for classroom dominance. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, as this movie has so much more to offer. My favorite scene, you guessed it, the pool scene, which made Phoebe Cates my number one crush. Coming in at number 25 is Die Hard. Bruce Willis reaches superstardom by playing New York cop John McClane, invited to an office Christmas party on the West Coast by his separated wife. But everything goes to shit as terrorists take over the building. McClane ends up barefoot, trapped on one of the unused floors, so he begins to be a thorn in the criminals' sides. They are led by Hans Gruber, played by the great Alan Rickman. Yes, Professor Snape himself. And like always, he gives a memorable performance. My favorite scene, anything involving the idiot police captain.
Now you listen to me, mister. I don't know who in the hell you think you are or what you're doing, but you just destroyed a building.
Well, I got some bad news for you, Dwayne. From up here, it doesn't look like you're in charge of jack shit.
You listen to me, you little asshole.
Asshole? I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne.
Coming in at number 24 is Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. After saving Spock from the Genesis planet, the crew of the Enterprise, using a stolen Klingon bird of prey, head to Earth to face judgment. But a strange alien probe shows up, causing destruction to Earth's oceans. To save the Earth, Kirk and crew use time travel to acquire some extinct humpback whales to communicate with the probe. So instead of your usual brainy sci-fi Trek type of movie, you get a unique fish out of water comedy, as the 80s isn't ready for the futuristic crew. There's so many great scenes here, but I'll choose the bus scene.
Excuse me. Do you mind stopping that damn noise?
And I say screw you! And I hope you're blue too. We're all bloody wetland.
Coming in at number 23 is John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm guilty, like so many back in the 80s, in that I didn't think much of the movie, but I've seen the error of my ways, as it's a phenomenal paranoia-inducing horror movie about a group of scientists in the Antarctic infiltrated by an alien that can mimic any biological organism. The practical effects are jaw-dropping, as the creature wreaks havoc, being one step ahead at every turn. You got Kurt Russell doing his Kurt Russell thing. I don't know, Kurt Russell and John Carpenter just love to work together. My favorite scene is the chest paddle scene. Coming in at number 22 is Psycho 2. After 20 years, Norman Bates is given his freedom and declared sane by the courts. But the families of his victims, led by Lila Crane, are outraged. As Norman tries to integrate himself back into society, someone posing as Mother begins killing at the motel. This is one of the greatest whodunits I've ever seen, and Anthony Perkins and Meg Tilly are outstanding. My favorite scene makes me chuckle as it involves a shovel.
Pardon?
Coming in at number 21 is Halloween 2. Taking place immediately after Halloween, Michael heads to nearby Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, where Laurie Strode is being treated for her wounds. Unlike the original, the blood and gore here are jacked up. Scalpels, syringes, and other hospital tools make Michael an artist, creating a masterpiece of death. Jamie Lee Curtis, aka Laurie Strode, spends the middle act out of commish, and if you look closely, she's wearing a bad wig as she cut her hair between movies. My favorite scene, one of the greatest kills in slasher history, the hot tub kill. Coming in at number 20 is First Blood. Vietnam vet John Rambo visits a small town to see one of his war buddies. A sheriff played by Brian Dennehy mistakes him for a vagrant and gives him a hard time, eventually arresting him. After some more bullying at the precinct, Rambo escapes and flees to the mountains, where the manhunt begins. But the police soon realize they are the ones being hunted, as Rambo is a Green Beret war hero. Message about how we treat our vets. My favorite scene, Rambo takes out most of the cops tracking him and leaves the sheriff literally crying.
In town, you're the law. Out here, it's me. Don't push it. Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let it go. Let it go.
Coming in at number 19 is Conan the Barbarian. The ultimate revenge story, as young Conan's parents and people are slaughtered before his very eyes by cult leader and sorcerer Thulsa Doom, played by none other than Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones. Conan goes on a journey from slave to warrior to thief. My favorite scene involves Conan infiltrating Mount Doom. Guys have camouflage, they got all types of stuff going on, orgies, big cauldrons full of green stew that's got like human body parts in it. It's pretty wild. Coming in at number 18 is Highlander. Christopher Lambert is Connor MacLeod, a man born immortal, and he must battle other immortals until only one remains. How do you kill an immortal? By ridding him of his head, of course. Whoever triumphs is promised a great prize. And so this is a setup for grown-ass men running around in New York City cutting each other's heads off with swords. A very unique sci-fi sword and sorcery premise. My favorite scene, Ramirez, played by Sean Connery, trains Connor to fight in montage form. Coming in at number 17 is The Last Dragon. Martial arts meets Motown as Bruce Leroy has reached the peak of his kung fu training and seeks the final level where it is said that you will be surrounded by a sublime glow. He ends up crossing paths with TV celebrity Laura Charles, played by the beautiful Vanity. Charles is being terrorized by video game king Eddie Arcadian. After Leroy thwarts Arcadian's plans to kidnap Charles, Eddie hires Leroy's nemesis, Sho'nuff, the Shogun of Harlem. He's easily one of the greatest villains in film history. My favorite scene, yep, Leroy gets the glow. And my final movie for this video, coming in at number 16, is Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox plays Marty McFly, a slacker teen from a slacker family. His longtime friend and mentor, Doc Brown, asks him to help test out a time machine he's created out of a DeLorean, no less. But when they're attacked by terrorists, Marty accidentally escapes to the past. To make matters worse, he interrupts his parents' first meeting, and now his mother has a crush on him, thus slowly erasing him from existence. Can he and past version Doc Brown get his parents back together and get him home? My favorite scene, oh my god, there's so many, but I'm going to choose Marty invents the skateboard. Well, that wraps things up here. We got 15 movies left. I'm really excited. I'm going to get to work on them right away. Be on the lookout. I'm also simultaneously working on a few other smaller projects, and I'm excited about bringing those out too. So from The City That Never Sleeps, peace, people.
Even if it ain't all it seems, I got a pocket full of dreams, baby, I'm from New York.